This is Devorah, and this is a teaching on the end of all things. 1 Peter 7. But the end of all things has dawned near. Therefore be sober-minded and be attentive in prayers. 1 Peter 1:13. Therefore, having girded up the loins of your minds, being sober, set your expectation perfectly upon the favor that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Yeshua HaMashiach. My dear Mishpoka, things are winding up. The end of all things has come upon us. What do we do when the bottom falls out? Life will not be life as usual. Fear is coming upon the entire world. The shaking has already begun worldwide. Nations are falling apart, civil unrest everywhere. Economies are crashing. Greece, Spain, Ireland, even here in South America, the economy is starting to take a dive. It is in a free fall as I speak. China itself is in big economic trouble, as most of you know. America is about to go into an economic collapse, and this time it will not recover. Judgment is at the door. So what do? Don't fear, don't panic, be sober-minded. Be prayed up, for when the worst comes, we go back to Peter 1:4-7 that says, but the end of all things has drawn near, therefore be sober-minded and attentive to prayer. And you'll know what to do. As we hear in the Middle East, countries having civil war, and one after another, and one nation after another is going into civil unrest, there is no peace to be found anywhere. There soon will be World War III, and Israel is surrounded by armies. I have friends, which is really my family in Israel, and they let me know the latest news what's going on there. We have been hearing of Israel going to war for years, and it eventually will happen. America has sent soldiers to Israel, and that's not a good sign. When America sends soldiers, it usually means war. Egypt, Libya, Lebanon, Syria, and now Turkey, they are in turmoil. There are many Christians being martyred in Syria, as we hear from those that are in Israel. So please pray for them. They are not all Muslims. If you want to be ready for what is coming, the main thing is don't fear. The world does not have a compass. Man is craving for the wrong things. They have no compass, and some believers have lost their compass. There is no peace, there's no shalom. As believers in Yeshua, our compass is Yeshua and the Torah and the commandments. The word clearly says in Matthew 6:25, because of this I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you shall eat or drink, about your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Read all of Matthew 6:24 through 34. Matthew 6:33 says, but seek first the reign of Elohim and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. And verse 34 of Matthew 6:34 says, don't worry. What is righteousness in verse 6:33? Colossians 3:12-14 tells us to put this on. So this is our robe of righteousness. Number 1 is compassion. 2, kindness. 3, humbleness of mind. 4, meekness. 5, patience. 6, bearing with one another. 7, forgiving one another. 8, ahava, love. 9, let peace rule in your hearts. And 10, be grateful. Fear is everywhere, and famine and war is knocking at the door. But for us, as the children of Yeshua and the keepers of Torah and the commandments, we must remember what Yeshua said in Matthew 6:8. I know what you need before you ask. Therefore, Mishpoka, we are different from the world. We have a compass. Our compass leads us to safety. If we are prepared by trusting Elohim to take care of us, he will. It will come down to faith and not fear. The fearful don't trust Elohim, and without faith it's impossible to please him. Hebrews 11:6. Yes, fearful things are coming on the earth and intensifying. We cannot deny that. Preppers are now getting ready for the end of all things. They have loads of food and ammo, but food and ammo will eventually run out. Then what? I know of people also storing gold and silver, so when the famine hits and the mark comes, what good will that gold and silver do? Will they be able to buy a loaf of bread? Drought is all over the world as I speak, now. Jeremiah 14. Read Jeremiah 14 concerning droughts, and see why there are droughts all over the world. Remember the story of the Exodus, the story of Pharaoh in Egypt? The entire nation of Egypt was destroyed. Judgment hit upon Egypt. But the Israelites were led by Elohim out into the wilderness, and Elohim did provide everything. Not even their clothes were out. They took loving care of his people. He took loving care of his people. Some are saying, but we must prepare physically. We must prepare for what is coming. So you must be like a survivalist? So are we to be wise and be led like Joseph was and prepared for the 7 years of famine as he prepared? So should we store up all that we need for our family? Yes, the word says the wise see the storm coming and prepare for it. So prepare as Elohim leads you. Some don't feel led to prepare. Well, make sure Elohim is leading you in that direction for preparation. Some of us will not be able to prepare because we have to move, and we cannot move loads of stored supplies because he will lead us to safer places. Others are to prepare refuge places as Elohim calls upon you to do, and we must hear what he is telling each one of us to do. We have a call, a duty to each other. It is not a time to be selfish and self-centered. It is a time to look out for our brother. We are our brother's keeper. We are to be willing to give our lives for one another. So, okay, a storm is coming. What kind of a storm? War, famine, natural disasters, civil unrest, economic collapse, violence, hatred. Hatred, the love of many is waxing cold, especially among family members, at war with one another. So the real storm is a storm of demons like locusts that are unleashed on mankind because of lawlessness, Torahlessness. Mankind has completely rejected Elohim and his laws and the commandments. So how much time do we have? So let me ask you, how much span do you have? And the question is, how much span do you have to pray? How much, even Yeshua himself gave himself to prayer. Yeshua went to solitary places to pray. In his greatest hour of need, before he went to the stake, he went to the Mount of Olives to pray. In Luke 22:39-45, in verse 41 it says, and falling on his knees, he was praying. Therefore we must pray to be ready for what will be coming upon our individual lives. Find a place where you can be alone with Elohim, so you can hear his voice telling you what to do. When death comes knocking at your door, and I mean the death of your faith, because of the word says, men's heart will fail them because of what they see coming on the audits on the earth. And there will be a great falling away from the faith. Where is your faith? Do you trust him? With what is coming, we better be able to hear the voice of Elohim. He's very busy right now directing his people. So do you know what you are supposed to do in this critical span, this critical time in history? Don't be found sleeping. Wake up. Put on your armor like in Ephesians 6:11-18. We are at war and it will get intense. Some of us are not in basic training anymore. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-17 says, rejoice always and pray without ceasing. Remember this. Matthew 28:20 says, Yeshua said, lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Jeremiah 29:11-13 says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares Yahweh, plans of peace, plans of shalom, and not evil, to give you a future and an expectancy. Then you shall come and pray to me, and I shall listen to you. And you shall seek me, and shall find me when you search for me with all your heart. Jeremiah 31:9 says, with weeping they shall come, and with their prayers I bring them. I shall make them walk by the rivers of the waters in a straight way, which they do not stumble. 1 Thessalonians 5:4 says, but you, brothers, are not in darkness, so that this day, this Yom, should take you over as a thief. John 14:27. This is a very important verse. It says, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." Yeshua gave this verse to his disciples just before he got taken up to Shemaim to be with his father, with Araba. To us Hebrews, in the house which is the house of Israel, and the nations which belong to him, Hosea says, "Take words with you, which is an offering, and return to Yahweh, and say to him, Take away all wickedness, and accept what is told, what is good, and we render the bulls of our lips." Mishpokah, Yeshua gave you a heart to seek him in all truth, and this is my prayer for you. So encourage yourselves, read Psalms 121, and start praying. Todah.